cry when they said it. That's the part people want to correct later, like grief has rules. There was a bag already by the door, not packed with care, more like proof that the decision had been made earlier when I was still 17 and didn't know to ask where I would sleep. My mother recited conditions in a tone that was meant to sound reasonable. Me father watched the window. The house felt cleaner without me in it. I stepped outside, and the door closed with a finality that didn't echo absorbed sound the way carpet does. Walked because standing still would have made it real. The city on a week AA afternoon is a set of transactions, and I had none to offer. Counted my money twice, enough for a bus ride and a meal if I chose carefully, not enough to be careless with kindness. Dusk I learned how to make myself small. You don't lie down in places where people can trip over you. You keep your bag where your feet can feel it. You learn that hunger has layers. First loud, then persuasive, then patient. She was sitting on the concrete outside the pharmacy, back against the brick like it had once been a plan. Her hands were clean, her shoes weren't. She asked for change without asking, just a look that didn't hurry me along. Told myself a story about boundaries, about how generosity was a luxury item, about how I would be smarter tomorrow if I didn't pretend today was symbolic. Then I felt the wave that the coin that was in my pocket. I hate to become now that they were all I had gave to you. I did not, because it was noble, because I wanted to decide something about myself. While I still could. She closed her fingers around the money as if it might blow away. Thank you, she said, then didn't let go of my wrist. Her whisper was careful, like instructions given near a sleeping child. They're coming for you tonight, she said. Jet, a hotel'll show you why. Laughed once or two quickly. Who's they? I asked, already pulling my hand back. She nodded toward my bag. You don't know yet, she said, but you will. Fear is a marketplace. I didn't buy what she was selling at first, but the specificity tonight sat with me. So did the word hotel. Absurd and impossible. I walked away, telling myself I was immune to omens. 2 blocks later, I turned around. She was still there, hands folded, now watching the door of the pharmacy as if waiting for a receipt. Found a cheap place near the highway that took cash and didn't ask questions. The room smelled like cleaner and old smoke. I put the bag on the chair, slid the deadbolt, and sat on the bed with my shoes on because I wasn't ready to be that comfortable. Sleep arrived in pieces. The hum of the ice machine, a car alarm that learned to stop, my phone buzzing with a number I didn't recognize. I let it ring. The knock came just after midnight, not loud, professional. Opened the door right away. I asked who it was. Names came back, followed by the word police, and then after a pause, me name correctly pronounced. When I opened the door, they stood where the hallway light made them unmistakable. One of them asked me to step aside. Another glanced at the baguette my shoe sat. My hands, their questions were precise. Had I been home earlier? Was I 18? Did I have somewhere safe to go? Raise their voices. They didn't explain everything. Authority doesn't have to. Told me there had been a report that my parents had called in a welfare check that had become something else once timelines were compared, that a missing persons alert had been initiated improperly and then escalated that because of my age and the circumstances. They were required to make sure I wasn't or somewhere else being coerced, held somewhere or against my will. One of them asked if I had somewhere else to stay, said no, nodded like that, answered a different question. Drove me to a building with glass doors and a woman behind a desk who looked like she knew how to make coffee for people who didn't want it. Paperwork happened caught, appeared a number, was written on my wrist in pen that didn't smud. The morning a different kind of authority arrived. Social services introduced with first names and pamphlets. The word emancipation was used. Careful, the word options appeared more than once. No one told me my parents were villains. No one told me they were right. The language was procedural and somehow merciful. When I asked how they had found me so fast, the woman with the clipboard hesitated. There was a call from a concerned citizen. She said she insisted. I walked back past the pharmacy. That afternoon the concrete was empty. No folded hands, no receipt. Don't know her name. I don't know what she knew or how. I know that she took my money and gave me a deadline. Parents sent a message that evening was short. They asked where I was and said we needed to talk. I didn't answer, not because I was punishing them, because for the first time the conversation wasn't urgent. There was time to decide what words deserved to exist. Compassion didn't save mate, didn't fix the house or rewrite the day. I turned 18. It did something smaller and steadier, made me act before fear finished the sentence. 8 made me listen. Kept the hotel receipt folded in my pocket for weeks, a proof I could touch. Safety arrived without applause. Dignity arrived without revenge. And when I finally slept, it wasn't because the world had become kind. It was because in a narrow moment had chosen who I would be, and someone else had recognized it in time.